Hi everyone, it's Eddie here. Welcome back to my channel, and I have some exciting news to share with you today. These are my newest foam stamps that I've designed for PM Artist Studio, and they're very special to me because they are symbols of my ancestry. So I am Puerto Rican. My parents were born in Puerto Rico. I was born here in the States. However, we're big history buffs in our family, and we, reading and all kinds of stuff like that with, history books with my dad and stuff, we discovered that we are part of the Taíno tribe. They are an indigenous people of the Caribbean, mainly made up of indigenous peoples of South and Central America who migrated over into the Caribbean and to Puerto Rico. There was a different name for that group until the Spanish came and decimated them and basically enslaved them and, treated them very poorly. A lot of them died off of diseases brought in by the Spaniards. So what the Taíno word actually means is honorable, that type of thing, right? So that was the word that they used to introduce themselves when the Spaniards came in, so that they wouldn't think that they were evil or bad or anything like that. Basically trying to say, hey, we're good people. So anyway, there is a lot of symbolism that they used back then, and what I wanted to do was kind of honor that, and so I created some designs based on original images that were found, of the native people of Puerto Rico, and these are the first three. Hopefully I'll get some more done. But I'd like to introduce you to the shaman, which is this little guy. This is the sun god. And then this is the totem. So I thought today we could have a little fun and play with my stamps and this stencil too that I got from PM Artist Studio. This is called Crop Circles, Quilted Crop Circles. If you're unfamiliar with PM Artist Studio, they are artists down in Texas, and they make stencils, they make foam stamps, and they do some other arty things. They live stream 4 times a week on YouTube, Sundays and Mondays at 10 a.m. and Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. Those are central times, so figure that out based on where your location is. But they're a wonderful mother-daughter team who they're exploring their art. They do a lot of gel printing, there's card making, book making, all kinds of stuff. It's just really a fun place to be, and I'm usually always there on the live stream. Also, they have their website, pmartiststudio.com. That's where you'll find all their wonderful products, including all of my designs. And if you want to further involve yourself with us, there is a wonderful group that they run called Makers of Mixed Media Art and Artists. That's on Facebook. It's a private group run by PM Artist Studio. However, it's really easy. You just go in, you answer a couple questions, and just to weed out any trolls or bots, and yeah, you're in. And that's where me and my friends hang out, my arty friends. We share art, we share ideas, we share solutions, and it's just a really friendly, welcoming, supportive place. So all the links for that are in the description box of the video. So let's get started. I'm going to start. I picked out some earthy colors for my playtime here. So I've got yellow oxide, I've got copper, this is unbleached titanium, and then I also have terracotta and indigo, and then some black. I don't have anything specific in mind, but I wanted to create a couple of backgrounds using the stencil for to stamp my stamps on and maybe create tags or ATCs with them. So let me just get started and just play along or play with the colors on the stencil and get some backgrounds going. And I figured what I'd do is afterwards is figure out where I want the stamps and then, you know, use a contrasting color to stamp on it with. Or I could also do emboss them, heat emboss, all kinds of stuff we can do. So let's just start with the stencil. Now, like I said, this one is called Quilted Crop Circles, and these Yupo, these are made of Yupo. They are a propylene product. They're very strong, durable, as long as you take care of them. They have two sides, and what I mean by sides is when you first get one, you're gonna feel one side has more of a tooth to it. And what I mean by that is that's where the blade went down into, right? And so, because these are cut on machines, and that's the side you want to lay onto the gel plate, because that side's the gel plate's gonna suck that side in and keep it nice and still for you. So let's start first. Let's see. I think maybe we'll start with, let's do a little bit of this, yellow oxide. This is yellow oxide. I've got some unbleached titanium, a little bit of that, and maybe a little bit of the terracotta. This is a terracotta, but this one is Lucas Krill. Very good paints. Let me just move these away. Just mix them all up. Hope everybody's doing well. All right, so nice little orangey color. That's kind of cool. So I'm gonna put my stencil down. This is an 8x10 gel plate and the 8x10 stencil. This also comes in a 5x7, and they also come as a mandala set, so you can get the circles individually in a set, separate. So, I'm gonna lay down some carnival tissue paper and pull up the paint through the openings of the stencil. Just take your time, be careful. Don't want to shift it all around. So basically, it'll leave behind the design. There we go. There's a lot of little holes, so I may not be able to get everything, but, get as much as I can. Isn't that cool? So that'll be fun to use later as well. And I'm going to use another piece just to make sure get as much as I can. And this is Carnival Wet Strength Tissue. I have a link for it in the description box. And it's a great tissue to use when gel printing because it's very hard to tear. It holds many layers of paint. As the name suggests, it's wet strength. So here we go. I need more table space. So what we'll do is we'll pull that up. Look how beautiful that is. We'll do a flop off if that doesn't dry too fast, and I'll show you what that is. I'm just gonna lay our paper down. And use my wood baron. This is to burnish down the paper onto the plate to make sure that everything has good contact so that we get everything up. All right, give that a second. I'm going to another strip of paper. Let's see if we can get any paint off this. Now, this is a brand new stencil, so when you're doing this type of thing, this flop off, where you put it down on the paper, give it a rubbing, get some of that paint off. Don't leave it down too long because the Yupo can stick to the paper and cause you a headache. You'll have to soak your stencils to get the paper off, so just keep that in mind. So there, we got another cool print. All right, let's see. This one should be done. I'm not. These aren't prints that that need to sit too long. Yeah. So there's one background, and you're thinking, oh, there's white there. You know, you can certainly do another layer to put down some color in there. But I think for now, we're just going to leave this like this, and we'll do another one. Maybe this time we do the reverse. So we're going to put, you know what, I'm going to do this way, just so I keep one side painty and one side not painty. Let's use some of this indigo. And how about some copper? And maybe some of this yellow. Get me making a mess. That's okay. And then just spray this out. Dip in the middle of my stencil, not my stencil, my gel plate, and it doesn't want to pick up, so I got to give it a little extra encouragement. Always be gentle when you're pulling it up off the plate. Look at that, that's beautiful. Now, what we could do is I could take this, lay this down over as best I can. That's not right, that's not right. Although, no, I may not be able to do it. It's just the reverse. Yeah, this is reversed, so that's going to be difficult to do because it is a reverse image because I flipped it over, remember? Okay, so we're going to wait on that. I'm going to let this one dry on here, and then we'll pick it up with a different color. But look how cool that is. This is the side you're going to see once you pull your prints. You got the copper mixed in and the indigo, some yellow. Very, very cool. So set that to dry. Let's see if I can get anything off of the stencil. See, it'll work on this because this is the same side we used as the flop off before. There you go, look at that. I love that. Great effects. Very cool. Okay, you can go there. And I need another plate. Where are you? Here you go. This one's good. This got some copper on it already, or bronze. I don't know what that is. I think it might be bronze from, it's a different paint. Okay, let's do a little indigo. And how about some, maybe a little terracotta up here. A little bleached titanium. let's see what we get. Sort of an ombre, sort of not. Stencil down, and again just use your tissue. I mean, you could use a regular piece of paper as well to pull the paint through. That is a-okay. I just like using the tissue because it's thin enough where I can get into these little nooks and crannies better than a thicker piece of paper. You can use regular tissue paper. Just gotta be careful because the regular tissue paper does rip a lot easier. So you just wanna make sure that you are careful with it and don't leave it down on the page, on the plate too long. Let's see here. All right. Kinda cool, okay. So for this one, I'm gonna let this one dry, and we'll pick it up with another color. But look how great that looks. Love all that, plus the it's a bits of that bronze paint in there too helps. Wonderful. All right, let's let that one dry. This plate. Well, this is clean. This is just underneath here. So let's try something else. Paint all over me already. I'm gonna put some black down and put it through the stencil. So I get just the black outline and maybe, I think just the black for now. And then what it will do is we can pick it up with another color once it's dry. That's Mars Black from Liquitex. And sometimes you might need a little more paint than you think when you're using stencils with a lot of openings like this, because until you build up paint on your stencil, you will get, it's harder to get into there. I think that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. Okay, a little squishy there, but I'm not too worried. So this will be wonderful. Once it's dried, we get a cool color mix on there, and then we'll let that, we'll pick that up. So we've got 3 plates going. Let's get this flop off. I'm gonna do this a flop off. Where's my, no, let me use this tissue for the flop off. That'll be good. The tissue doesn't really stick like the paper would. So we have a better shot of capturing more paint. See what I mean? And then as you're painting on the stencils, you're adding paint, the stencil gives back. And what I mean by that is the more you print with it, with paint on it, it's going to release some of that paint that's on there and give you some really cool effects. So if you're familiar with my channel, you know I do what's called a long haul on the gel plate. And those long hauls lend itself to that type of situation where the stuff is on the, that's already on the stencil will release onto whatever paper you're using to pick up your print with. But so you can watch some of my long hauls and you'll see some of that action going on. All right, so yeah, look, see how it transferred? That's kind of cool. All right, so let me see here. Let me get myself situated. Get some of this wet stuff out of the way. So our first one here. These need to dry. So I'm gonna let them dry and then I will come back and we'll pick them up. This one is dry. Yeah, that's dry. So what I'm gonna do is let's think about a color that we can pull it with, meaning, you know, putting a layer down to pick up the entire thing. So this is what we're gonna see. So I'm thinking, I think of the colors. If I use a yellow, this might green this out maybe. You know what, I'm willing to risk it. I'm gonna use the yellow oxide to pick up this print. And just a little bit more. Let's see here. Shouldn't need too much because it's only one layer of paint down, so it shouldn't be too bad to pick up. Alrighty, there's my bear. That's what I like about the gel plays. Like, it lends itself to just playing around and experimenting, and it always gives you some really good surprises. It's hard for me to plan because as I'm doing it, things change. But I think that, you know, when you're gel printing, you know, pick out like what I did with my paints. You pick out a selection of colors and start there. So at least, you know, at least 3, you start from there and then, you know, go on from there. Because that way you at least have like 3 to start with, but then, you know, allow yourself to expand out and play around. Ah, that's lovely. And what I love is that the indigo, the yellow did not cause the indigo layer to go green or any other color. It stayed indigo. The terracotta just kind of went a little more orangey, but it's wonderful. Let's see. Let's see. Sometimes these come up quickly. Yeah. Here we go. Here's the very first one. How beautiful is that? I really, really like that. I love this. The variation here is kind of splotchy. It's kind of, you know, kind of going for like ancient cave wall type thing, you know, where you might see these symbols and then come back in and add the stamp, right? So that'll be on another video. But I wanted to create backgrounds first, and then once they're dried, I can play with them as far as stamping and all that good stuff. Now for this one, this is the flop off we did. I want not a flop off, this is one of the first ones that we pulled. I want to put a layer on this, a thin layer of something transparent, so that it can fill in that white area and maybe give us something a little more interesting. So I'm trying to think what I have to work. This this permanent magenta. Just feel it might be too dark. And then I have, let's see, got a blue now. Not blue, not purple. Let's see what I have in this little box. This box is decorated with gel prints. Fun. Just a cardboard box. How about this yellow? Oh, there's really not much of that left. I don't know if that'll be enough. One of these glazes would be good. I'll try this pink. No, try the pink. I don't know. I can't decide. Purple flash. No. This is a washout mix I made. Just a couple of different colors from bottles that were pretty much empty. I just added water to them and shook it up. I'm gonna use some of that and some of that yellow. So this is regular, just nickel azo yellow, and then this is, like I said, it's a mix. It was originally quinacridone crimson, and there's some other colors I added in there, I forget, plus some water. So it's liquidy, but that's okay. A little murdery looking. And you're gonna notice, because of the water content, it's gonna start to separate, which is referred to as selling. And that's just fine. Okay. Fingers crossed. I think we can get something cool out of here. See, that's the selling I'm talking about. And remember, if you don't like it, it's just paper. You can paint over it. Whatever. Yeah, that went a little dark. However, I do really like it because of the texture. So I think it's still definitely usable for what I wanted to use it for. And it just gives a hint of that crop circle in the background. I don't know. I like it. I'm going to keep that. I think that one is a success. I'm going to pick this up with this tissue. Actually, there's still more paint on here. Get heavy with some paint. All right, see how great that is. That's a really cool combo. I love that. All right, let's get another print down. And I think, let's use the unbleached titanium. That's going to go on the plate first, then I'll put the stencil on top. And yeah, I don't mind that there's already, paint on the plate. That's perfectly okay. That's part of the gel printing fun, Here we go. It's down, don't move it. Once it's down, it's hard to realign it because of the, what do you call that? Of the wet paint. So, just let it be. And this tissue does not want to separate. You know why? It's because I just cut it today. I get the carnival tissue, and I got it in a big box, the large quantity one, and then I get, and I cut it down to the sizes I need. And when you first cut it, sometimes it's hard to separate. And I just ordered some Gelli paper, which is also good for gel printing. And so I finally got around to ordering some of that. And that's it's another good paper to use as a pickup for your gel printing needs. And then you can use it, you know, just to pull prints as well. That's cool. I just love this design. I need to pick up a little bit more. Let's see if I can get any on here. I did put down a lot of paint, but not a lot, but more than usual, but that's okay. Better, much better, much better, much better. And it didn't really take away from this either. Kind of added like highlights, right? So let's pull that up, and that needs to dry. But look how cool already it looks with the stuff that was left on the plate from before. So it's got some interest already. All right, let's check out these other plates. All right, this needs a little bit more. No, that's pretty dry. I'm just gonna hit it with my heat gun for a second. This is very important. When you're using the heat gun near a gel plate, be very, very careful. Keep it moving, do the low heat, and do it quickly. Because you don't want to mess up the gel plate. You can always use a hair dryer, but mine is in the bathroom and it's got hair on it. Not hair on it, but you know, I use it for my hair, so I'm not gonna use it for this. So let's just give it a little while. That looks good. Sorry about the camera moving. Everything's like attached to each other, basically. So for colors, let's see. I definitely want to use the copper. And we're going to use... You know, I wonder what will happen if we mix the yellow with the copper. All right. This plate is a little dirty. That's okay. I'm just mixing paint on it. And I was using my skeleton stamp there. So we have some copper and some yellow oxide. And I had a palette knife. Here we are. Let's see. Take half of that. And let's see what we come up with. Ooh, that's very nice. It's a little softer than than the copper. A little bit more. Makes it a little bit more golden. Okay, I like that. So you can see how different that is. Not super different, but you know, different enough. So we have that color. do we want to use another color as well? You know what? I think we're just going to stick with that. I think that would be great. All right. That's lovely. See how beautiful that is? It's a great color. Paper. Where's my paper? Down and give it a nice rubby rub with the wood baron. Very nice. I'm going to give this a little bit to dry because I am picking up this layer. Oh, I adore that. Love it. Okay. Let's keep it going, keep it moving. This other plate, this should be dry, yeah? Yeah. I'm such a daredevil, just put my hand right in the middle of it. I shouldn't do that. But you know, I like to live dangerously. Let's see here, get some gunk on there, come off. So for this one, this is the one that had some really cool markings from this side with the copper showing and the yellow. I think this one, I'm just gonna do the unbleached titanium. I could certainly pick these up with tissue, but for my purposes, I'm using the paper, so it's a little sturdier. So yeah, I was thinking making either ATCs, because these are perfect size for the ATC. Do I have an ATC around here? Yes, I do. You're getting a sneak peek because this ATC is from a video that'll be coming out later. All right, so yeah, you see how that fits on there? That fits great. And then here's Shaman and the Sun God. They all fit perfectly on ATCs, so maybe I'll just make some ATCs. I can make ATCs, I can make tags. What else could I do? All kinds of stuff that can be done. So I think it'll be really cool. Well, this is still a little cool to the touch, so I'm gonna let that sit and then check on the other one. That's gonna look money, money, money. That's nice and dry. Oh, I need to hit the lottery so I can invest in some a larger work surface, because this is just not cutting it. I'll move some of my stuff out of the way. Come on, stop it. So for this one, let's do something sparkly behind it. So we have our copper. Get that copper. Where's that plate with the paint? Whoa, everything just went flying. Give me a second. Let me fix this. Okay, I think we're okay. It sounded worse than it really was. So we have, I want to do some sparkly, so we got here. You know what? Let's just do a gold. This one's calling for a little gold. And we're gonna put the gold. Here we go. All right, let's just go ahead and make this one gold. That's a little more than I needed, but I think that'll be fine because it's a semi-transparent gold. I think thicker the better. Ooh, so pretty. Get the paper down. It's important when you're gel printing to make sure that you get your edges and corners really well, because those tend to be the areas that are likely to stay behind if they're not if they've not made enough proper contact with the paint and the plate. Let's take a peek here. Oh, that's really cool. Very, very elegant looking. All right, that one's gonna dry. So we've got 3 drying, yeah. I think the black one, I think this should be ready. Let's see what we've got here. Although, let me take care of this paint on here. I'm just gonna brayer this out onto a piece of paper here. I can use this for something else. Lovely. I don't like to waste paint, so put it everywhere. And I got a great idea from Dee Dee yesterday. What she does is she has a journal for when she gel prints, and if there's, or when she just uses paint generally, if there's any paint left, she works it into her journal. Same for like pieces of collage paper, anything like that. So something I'm gonna work on. Maybe make a book for myself. And what did I say we were gonna do? Oh, we have to take this print off the plate. We should make sure your edges are cracked so that you don't get any sticking. Oh, look at that. Didn't I say that was going to be amazing? Very, very beautiful. Love it. Okay. Is that dry? That's dry enough. Stack it on there. And let's see if this plate is dry. That should be ready to go. Those edges. Now, mind you, I don't have to pull these right away. I can let them sit if I wanted to. It's not necessary, but if you find yourself that you're gel printing, you're like, oh, I gotta go do something, and you can leave it on the plate. It's okay. Some people leave their stuff on overnight. Whoa, look at that. That's stunning. Very nice. Oh, got some great prints today. All right, let's see. Let's keep going here. This gold. This one is still, it's still too wet. So I'm gonna pause my camera for you. It'll be a couple seconds and then I'll come back and unveil that one. So I was thinking, while I'm waiting for this to dry, that other one, I think I'm gonna do some stamping with my stamps so I can show you what they look like when they're stamped, and use some black paint and just stamp them off on here and pick them up with some carnival tissue. So you can see what they look like, plus I can use the tissue in other projects. Okay, I need my little guy here. So I'm just gonna avoid the black or that yellow. And yeah, it's perfectly fine to use acrylic paint with your foam stamps. Perfectly fine. The only thing I'll say is that you have to make sure that you clean them immediately after using them, because if they sit and dry, they will ruin your stamp, and it won't produce the print that you want or that should print. So let's see here. Make a little room for myself here. Room to groove. Okay. Spray out some of that. And you can even take your brayer and clean it off on the stamp to get a nice layer. All right, I'll start here. And try not to wiggle it and just push it down. Nice. Try and get 3 in a row here. Lovely. So we got 3 there. Step off on here. And then let's do the totem next. I think I can get 4 on here. There's 1. 2. There is 3. And 1 more makes 4. Nice. Step off. And then we have a little shaman. We might be able to get 5. There's 1. 2. Braid this out evenly. 3. 4. 5. Very nice. Stamp that off. Come on. And see, some of this is already drying, so I'm not going to pick it up just yet. What I will do is I'll pick it up with some gel medium. So I'm gonna let me let that dry for a second. I'll be right back. Nice and dry. Very good. So, like I said, I'm just gonna take some matte gel medium, do a layer of this, and then pick it up with my carnival tissue. And I have collage paper. Oops. Slippery stuff. Don't worry about the wrinkles. That just adds to the look. All right, let me give this a little bit to dry. It didn't take that long. It's not a very thick layer. It's just enough to pull that image off the plate onto the tissue paper. Look how great that looks. Oh my gosh. They look so good. And the great thing too is, or another idea is, what you can do is you can take a stamp, you stamp it off like this, or stamp it off onto paper, and you see that once it dries, you do a layer of textured gesso over it, clear textured gesso, and then you can color it in using your colored pencils if you wanted to. Because oftentimes the acrylic is very hard to pencil over, or the acrylic. But yeah, you can certainly do that, or use your or if you just, instead of using the textured gesso, you can use your acrylic markers to fill it in and to color it out. That's also another great way to use your stamps. So we have one more print to pull. I think it's ready. Yeah, that's it, right? That's it. This is the one with the gold. Get those edges nice and cracked. Yeah, my paper down is not even, but that's okay because these are probably going to get cut up. Oh yeah. This is a winner. Look at all that wonderful stuff going on. Let's see if I hold it up. Isn't that great? So thank you guys for joining me today. That was a fun session using the PM Artist Studio stencil Quilted Crop Circles. We made some really cool prints, including this one. We have that one. This one, which is gorgeous. This one, which was, I think it was, we picked it up off the plate, but then we added another layer with some liquidy paints, and it just created a whole new look, a totally different look. And then we have this one here as well. Plus, you got to meet my new foam stamps. The Taíno stamps, available at pmartiststudio.com. You can buy them individually, or you can buy them as a set. Either way, let them know that Eddie sent you, and my discount code for PM Artist Studio is in the description box to save you 10% off on your purchase. So yeah, and then we have this guy here. I think we can pull this. Let me see here. We have some collage paper. Got a lot done today. Very productive day. How great is that? Thank you guys so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and leave me a comment. I love those. Talk to you soon. Bye.